Go on the road again, North Texas. A really, really good football team. They've got some really good individual players and as well as a good team. And Seth, Coach Luttrell's done a fantastic job there in reestablishing that program, their tradition, the history of it. And he's just done a great job. I have a ton of respect for him as a person as well as a coach. And he's done a nice job. It's their offense, starts around their quarterback, Mason Fine. Who's their senior leader, is a great player, just a really talented player, a great leader, a great competitor. We played him, in 16. We were his first start against us in 16 there, and has just done a fantastic job. He's done a fantastic job, in that time that he's been there. So he's thrown for over 10,000 yards in his career, a bunch of touchdown passes. So an excellent player. They're running back. They're running the ball a lot better this year probably than they have the last several years. Their running back is second in the conference. He's averaging right at 100 yards. Benny LeMay at Charlotte's averaging 103. So an excellent running back. They got a good offensive line. They're not giving up a bunch of sacks, anything like that. So they're doing a really good job. And then I think their receiver is the second leading receiver in the conference. So you look at it, they've got a great quarterback. They've got a running back who's second in the conference, a receiver that's second in the conference. So their skill guys on offense are very talented. So we've got our work cut out for us this weekend from that standpoint. And then defensively, the thing that jumps out at you the most is just their overall team speed. This is one of the fastest defenses that we're going to face all year. Their secondary is good. Their linebackers can run out of the world. And, they got some guys. They got big guys up front. They're going to base out of a three-man front. You'll get some variations, but they're going to be in the three-man front. And they're getting a lot of production from their front guys. So this is a very talented team. Their record, they're 2-4 like us. They got beat by Cal by a touchdown. They got beat by Southern SMU, who's ranked, and then they got beat last week by, Southern Miss, who's very, very good. And so this is a good football team, a lot like us. I think we're better than our record states, and I think they're better than what their record states. So they're good in the kicking game. They're very sound in the kicking game. Their punter's averaging, I believe, up 42 yards a punt. So they're doing a good job. Their field goal kicker is 9 out of 11 on field goal attempts. And so they're really good in the kicking game as well. So North Texas has always been a tough place to play. They play really good at home, and that's no difference this year. So we've got to make sure that we're mentally tough. We handle the environment. We handle the trip in a professional manner, and be ready to play better than what we did last week. So I'll open it up to you guys.
Coach, how do you guys kind of, be more consistent, especially offensively through the whole game? It seems like you kind of struggled in the second half against FAU on Saturday.
Yeah, you're right. We did. We didn't play very good. We turned the ball over 3 times. We had, 2 holding penalties, 2 illegal block penalties, and we had 4 procedural penalties. And when you turn the ball over, and then you commit those mistakes, it's hard to be consistent. So it starts with us. We've got to be more disciplined. We got to coach better. We got to play better. We got to do all the little things that lead to success or lead to being a consistent offense you got to do those little things, and we didn't do those little things Saturday or last Saturday. So it's where it's got to start. We got to improve there, and we're not good enough just to show up. You gotta practice good. You gotta, we're still not running the ball very good. And then you throw in all the drop passes that we had. We had 7 drops, Saturday. So you throw that all into the pie, it comes out, a pretty pathetic performance.
But on the other side of that, defensively, I think you guys played well enough to win the game on Saturday. How do you take that into this week against another really, really good offense?
That's why I said that after the game. Said it, after the FAU game, that I thought defensively we they gave us a chance to win the game. Gave up 26 points to a team that had been averaging over 40 points the last 3 games, I think it was, that they had played. So, defensively we did a good job, and we just didn't score. We got to score. We hadn't scored offensively. Get 24 against Marshall, and you got 4 turnovers and you get 24 points. We scored 13 points against FAU. You're not going to win games in this day and time scoring 13 points. So we got to score. We got to get the ball in the end zone. We've got to be more consistent at every position offensively, and we'll get that. Hopefully, we'll get better at that and put a better performance out there Saturday.
Jalen Darden's coming off probably the best game of the year against Southern Miss last week. How do you go about game planning for him this week?
I mean, to me, it's more about us. We gotta play, and he's a good player, but everybody's got good players, and so we got a lot of respect for him. He's a talented player, and but we gotta get better ourselves.
You kind of mentioned Seth Luttrell in your opening. Just kind of what impresses you so much about him? I think this is his 4th year there, and like you said, it seems like he's kind of righted that program.
Yeah, he's a good person, and to me, that's where it always starts with a coach. If you're a good coach, if you're a good person, you're going to be a good coach. If you're a good father, a good husband, you're going to be a good coach. And same as a player, if you're doing the things off the field that you're supposed to be doing, 9 times out of 10, you're going to be a good player. And so that's where it always starts with me. And Seth is a good person. He's a good man, and he's an excellent football coach. And he's at a great school. They've won there. There's great tradition. They got great facilities. They're in a great recruiting area. But he's done a good job of turning that program around from when he inherited it a few years ago. So he's just done a nice job. With turning the North Texas program, around to what it was when Coach Dickey was there, in the early 2000s, and only competed against Coach Dickey that one year in 06. But North Texas was the team in the Sun Belt when they're in the Sun Belt, and then they went through some lean times there, and but Seth has come in and done a great job.
When you were going into the season, your expectation of being able to consistently run it, was it there, and has it been a head scratcher that haven't been able to translate that into the season?
Maybe a little bit. Before the season started, you knew it was going to be tough against Michigan and Iowa and Duke. You knew that. We ran it okay at Tennessee State. We didn't run it very good against Marshall or FAU. So that's a little disturbing. It's disappointing. But so I guess to answer your question, Chip, we got to get better, obviously. The master of the obvious right there. But, I've got a ton of confidence in our offensive line. I've got confidence in our running backs. You know, we're halfway through this season. We got a long way to go. So you look at it, you know, we ran it pretty good at Tennessee State. You knew you were up against, you know, tough sledding against those other 3 Power Fives. You know, we hadn't been very good these last 2 weeks. Let's be better these next 6 weeks.